Interstate 84. Yeah, that is Eastern Interstate 84 is what we're going to be talking about today since we have finished the Western I-84. So let's take a look at the route. Eastern I-84 goes between Scranton, Pennsylvania and Massachusetts, the Mass Turnpike, kind of in the middle of nowhere in Massachusetts, and kind of is a big roundabout for New York. Kind of a big bypass the whole time there. You're watching Control City Freak. This is the YouTube channel where we talk about interstate highways and the places that they're signed to go to. If you dig this kind of content, why not give us a like? And if you're really into it, go ahead and subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. Getting close to 5K. Excited. Thanks, guys. All right, first we're going to talk about Eastbound I-84 Eastern, and we begin here in Pennsylvania, and not surprisingly, things are grim from the start. Here on I-81, we get an exit for East 84 and South 380, Mount Pocono and Milford. Yeah, well, I guess I've heard of the Poconos, but I haven't heard of any of those other places. Going southbound on I-81, it's even worse. We get 84 for Carbondale and Mount Pocono. Milford goes away, we get Carbondale up on there now. Going ahead, we see Carbondale is the control city for US 6. I-84 didn't even have a control city listed there. We get Mount Pocono and Milford here. And we continue to see it is 84, 380 signed together. Always Mount Pocono, Milford. Here's where they split at exit 4, and 380 is signed south for Mount Pocono by itself. 84 is what gets Milford. So Milford, population 1,100, and it doesn't even touch I-84. This is the height of Pennsylvania provincialism. There is no reason to sign Milford whatsoever. And at mileage signs, Milford is the bottom line because nothing exists outside of Pennsylvania. We all know that. Here's our one exit for Milford. I just wanted to show it to you to show the reason for signing it so much. Look at this sprawling metropolis. And going eastbound from Milford, we get Port Jervis, New York, which is the very first city in New York. So Pennsylvania signing something outside of Pennsylvania because it's the next exit. And we get this mileage sign here, these famous towns, 6 and 8 miles away. Why would you sign anything further? Here we're going to cross the Delaware River. Where we're seeing these trees on this little part of this island in the Delaware River is actually New Jersey. We don't quite touch New Jersey, but we come very, very close here. And welcome to New York. The sign is mostly hidden by trees, it seems. Here we are in Port Jervis, and it is Middletown that is signed for some reason. Middletown, 16 miles away at exits. Don't know why. On the mainline road, though, we get Middletown 15 and Newburgh 35. So now Newburgh becomes the primary control city. A little bit bigger, cool, I don't know, 17,000 or so. Maybe it's bigger than that. And in Middletown, we get 84 East Newburgh here. So that is our primary control city now. Not a fan, I gotta say, of any of these control cities so far. Here in Newburgh, we meet I-87, and I-87 is signed for Albany and New York City, so awesome signage there. That is just perfect. And from I-87, it is signed 84 East Danbury, so 84 East Danbury, Connecticut. I gotta say, all these signs so far are pretty bad. I would not sign any of them these ways. I would have signed 380/84 for New York, and then after 84 split off, I would have signed 84 for Hartford right from there, because Hartford is going to be the next well-known place. I could see an argument for Newburgh because of the 87 junction, but definitely none of the other places. And now we cross the Hudson River, but we are not crossing a state line. However, as we are crossing the Hudson River, we are obligated to pay a toll by all laws, it seems. We did cross the Delaware for free, so that was cool. And we are seeing it is still 84 East Danbury here. On the mainline road, Danbury 14 on the bottom line, so not too far away from this point. Now we're meeting 684, which is signed south for White Plains and to New York City, so good to have New York on there. However, I took a look at the interchange since we didn't have a pull-through. We get 684 South White Plains, no mention of New York City, and 84 East Danbury, so not a big fan of that for sure. Welcome to Connecticut! Alright, a new state, awesome, and we are right away in Danbury. And from this point, we are going to be on 84 West Waterbury. Danbury and Waterbury are somewhat sizable, so I can kind of understand. but Hartford is just so much more well known, so I would have been signing Hartford all along here. Here we meet US 7, so we are signed for Waterbury and New Milford. New Milford is for US 7, and we see we split with US 7, so now 84 East Waterbury and 7 North Brookfield, New Milford. Here we are in Waterbury, and we get an exit with Highway 8, and 84 does not get a control city on this pull through here. On Highway 8 though, we do get 84 East Hartford, which I feel is what it should have been almost from the start. Now we're meeting 691 outside of Hartford, so 691 is signed for Meridian. Still no pull-throughs for 84. They don't like to do a lot of 84 pull-throughs, it seems. Here we've got a nice one, 84 East Hartford. Now in the Hartford area, we get 84 East Boston. Wow, that's cool. 84 doesn't go to Boston, but it is definitely the way to get to Boston from this point, so I like that a lot. In downtown Hartford, we are meeting I-91, which is signed south for New Haven and north for Springfield. 84 still East Boston. This interchange, we got to take a closer look at this interchange. From this angle, any of you recognize this interchange? I-84 and I-91? How about if we pull back from this angle? Does this look familiar to any of you rock fans out there? Yes, this is indeed the interchange that was used for the cover of Radiohead's OK Computer, one of the most awesome records ever. That is indeed the interchange on the cover. I'll show you a look at the interchange again so you can take another look here as if though you don't have a rewind button. Coming out of Hartford, we get 384 East for Providence, and 84 itself is signed for Boston. Lots of 3-digit highways in Connecticut. We meet 291 signed for Windsor, 84 still for Boston. And Massachusetts welcomes you, so we come to another new state. So that's awesome. This kind of works as a Massachusetts welcomes you sign as well, as we get a sign for Dunkin' Donuts at the first exit here. We are not in Massachusetts for long. We get I-90, Mass Pike, Boston, Springfield, toll road ahead. This is well signed here. We're getting 90 East for Western Boston, and we are getting 90 West for Springfield and Albany. So great work here. Massachusetts throwing heat right off the break here. All right, let's take a look at Westbound I-84. We're on Westbound 90, signed for Springfield and Albany, and we get 84 for Hartford, Connecticut, and New York City. Wow, that's an awesome sign. Massachusetts. Nice. For the record, it's the same thing going eastbound, so I didn't show it. Different control cities on 90, but same for 84. And then we even get a pull-through on I-84 for Hartford, CT, and New York City. I feel like they don't need the CT. There's not a Hartford, Massachusetts, and obviously Hartford, Connecticut is the most well-known and easily the biggest in the area, so I feel like that is redundant. But everything else is great. At interchanges, we get 84 West, Hartford, CT. So that works. And Connecticut welcomes you. So back to Connecticut. Excited for the Massachusetts stuff though. That was awesome. And in Connecticut, not surprisingly, we dropped the CT and it is just signed 84 West Hartford. We're meeting 291 West Windsor, and 384 this time is not signed for Providence, but it is signed for just a couple of streets. Because if you were to be going to Providence, you would have been coming a different direction from this point, so that makes sense. Here's a look at downtown Hartford, the insurance capital of the world. All right, and we meet I-91. North for Springfield, and 84 West just gets a pull-through, and I could not find an 84 West sign with a control city on it anywhere in Hartford, so we're going to take a look at I-91. Here we are on I-91 southbound, and we see 84 is signed for Waterbury. And going this way, I can get down with that. Waterbury is 130,000 or so people, so it is definitely sensible to sign it from Hartford. Go through a little tunnel here that says Welcome to Hartford, so that's neat. We meet 691 again. It is signed for Meridian once again. And on 691, we get 84 West, Waterbury, Danbury, and 84 East, Hartford. So Waterbury and Danbury are signed here. In Waterbury, we are on a double-decker freeway, and going westbound, we are on the lower deck. So this is kind of what it looks like there through downtown Waterbury. Another through traffic kind of sign with no control city, as Connecticut seems to like to do for 84 West. And at the interchange with Highway 8, we see 84 is West Danbury and East Hartford. So Danbury is about 80,000 or so. So far as where 84 is going from here, I think Danbury is a fine choice from Waterbury. And we see it is signed similarly at random interchanges. The pull-through still remains the same for 84 West here. And now here in Danbury, we're getting Newburgh and Norwalk as our control cities. Norwalk is there because of US 7, so we split with US 7, and now we are on 84 West Newburgh. Newburgh, again, not that big of a place. I would actually sign it New York City from this point, 84 West New York City, because it's the fastest way to get there from Danbury from this point, because you get on 684. Welcome to New York once again. And we meet 684 again, signed for White Plains and Pauling. No New York on it this time. I don't know why. This should have New York on it, and 84 should have been signed for New York up until this point. And I believe now 84 should be signed for Albany. But as we see on the 684 signage, it is signed 84 West Newburgh, just like it was in Connecticut. But yeah, I would sign it Albany here because you're kind of angling up in that direction, going in a northwest kind of route up to I-87. You see Newburgh now, 29 miles away. We cross the Hudson River on this bridge again. Pretty nice. And now we're meeting I-87, and it is signed for Albany and New York City, just like it was before. We don't get a pull-through on I-84, but we can see it is signed for Scranton from I-87. Now we're meeting Highway 17, which will become I-86. It's signed for New York City and Binghamton, so that's signed really well, I think. And we saw that Scranton sign before, but for whatever reason at interchanges we are getting 84 West Middleton or Middletown. Not quite sure I understand that. However, at bigger interchanges it is 84 West Scranton, as we can see here in Middletown. Yet, despite the larger sign for Scranton, on the mileage sign we're just getting Middletown and Point Jervis. Not sure if I'm saying that right. Hopefully I am. Don't want to get roasted again. I wonder about this. New York being a little provincial here. This should be Scranton on this sign here. I could see doing Middletown at the random interchanges, but on a mileage sign like this, you need to have Scranton on there. But at the next random interchange, we do get Scranton 57. So, who knows? We cross the Delaware River once again and head back toward Pennsylvania. And once we are on this side, we get our Welcome to Pennsylvania sign. In Pennsylvania, it is signed for Scranton right away, so none of this Milford messing around. We do get Milford as a secondary, but Scranton is on the bottom line, as it should be. So Pennsylvania, okay signing Scranton going one way, but won't sign anything bigger than Milford going the other way. I hate it when states do this, but at least in this case, Pennsylvania is signing a famous city, so and by Pennsylvania standards, this is pretty good. We meet 380, which is signed for Mount Pocono, and we are going to be on West 84, North 380, 281 for Scranton. So this is a concurrency. 380 does not end at 84. They are concurrent together and then end together at 81. And we see our exit for 81 coming up. We see it is signed for Wilkes-Barre and Binghamton. This is awesome. PennDOT coming out of nowhere here. So I always complain that we don't get the city we're signed to after a little while, and we had this split for 81. We don't know which way is Scranton. But look at this. They're telling us South 81, Scranton exits 185, 184, 182. Or if you go north on 81, the Scranton exits 190, 191B. Awesome. PennDOT. I'm amazed here. That's so good. Wow. And here is the end of I-84. We split with 81 South and 81 North right here. All right, let's take a look at Todd's the way it should be for Eastern I-84. I'm going to say east, it should be New York from the jump until the split with 380, then Hartford, and then I like how it's Boston, so I'll stay with Boston. Boston is cool there. Westbound, a little more complicated. I would say Hartford from the start. I like having that New York sign on there, that's cool, but just Hartford alone would do the job. And after Hartford, Waterbury, then Danbury, then I would sign it for New York up until 684, then sign it for Albany until I-87, and then sign it for Scranton from there. I think that would be the way to go instead of worrying too much about Newburgh. Although Eastbound Newburgh would be fine. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Control City Freak. Algorithmically speaking, we've got a video right here that you have probably not seen yet, so check that out. And don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Todd, and until next time, keep on trucking.